Hey guys, how you doing? Derek here from M1 Realty. So if you watch my channel on any regular basis, you'll know that I'm always on a mission to bring you guys up-to-date and relevant information regarding the Metro Detroit real estate market. But sometimes I just like to highlight some of my favorite cities, and that's exactly what I'm doing today. So I got the opportunity to go all around St. Clair Shores, meet with a bunch of locals and government officials, and kind of give you the scoop on what's happening in the market, in the city, all the great things that are going on in St. Clair Shores. So check this out. Hope you like it. So we're going to start by heading north on Harper Avenue through the middle of St. Clair Shores. So just some relevant facts about the city. St. Clair Shores is 14.28 square miles, and it's got a population of 58,874 people. And the city itself is relatively long and narrow. It's on the west side, bordered on I-94, and on the east side, hence the name, is Lake St. Clair. On the south end of the city, it borders Old 8 Mile, and it goes up to about 14 Mile on the north, roughly 14 Mile. 14 Mile doesn't come all the way through in St. Clair Shores, but as we head up Harper here, you can see it's kind of like the main drag of the city, where a lot of the shops are, a lot of restaurants, businesses. There's a few different business districts, but Harper Avenue is the main artery going north-south through the city. Now, St. Clair Shores itself, for some reason, has 3 school districts. I've never been able to figure out why they need 3, but they have them, so let's talk about them. On the south end of the city is South Lake Schools. The middle portion of the city is Lakeview Schools, and then the north end of the city is Lake Shore Schools. There's also several private schools in St. Clair Shores. There's St. Germain, St. Isaac Jogues, and St. Joan of Arc. Now, one of the things that I really like about St. Clair Shores that I think kind of sets it apart from a lot of other cities that surround it is just the community feel and the amount of activities that there are for residents and people that visit the city. Now, some of the things that the city offers are an absolute ton of parks, and we're going to talk about a couple of those in a little bit here. They've done a lot of work to kind of upgrade the park system throughout the city. The Civic Arena is, a huge attraction. There's open skating. There's programs for kids, hockey players, figure skaters of all levels. Definitely, if you're into hockey or figure skating, definitely worth checking out. There's actually a skate park now. The senior center, which is attached to Civic Arena, it has just an absolute ton of activities for seniors. There's a farmers market in the town, and Kite Monroe Park is a huge complex, and it's got softball fields, baseball fields, soccer fields, you name it. A multi-sport activity center. It's really a cool spot, and that's a little bit further up on Harper. And one of the newer events that the city's rolled out that's actually become really popular, it's a really cool concept, is the Social District, which is on the south end of the city. That's at the corner of 9 Mile and Mac. They've actually been able to shut down Mac Avenue and just basically make it a street fair that takes place spring through fall. And that's essentially every other weekend. They're going to bring in food trucks, vendors, bands. It's open alcohol throughout that district. Really cool concept. It's a really cool event, and it's been really successful so far. So they're definitely going to keep promoting that, and that's going to be continuing to be every other weekend throughout next year as well. And as we continue to head north on Harper, on the right-hand side there is one of the 3 fire stations that the city has. So I decided to duck in, talk to one of my friends about what it takes to become a firefighter in St. Clair Shores and what the job entails. So I was able to sit down with Adam Walleman, who's a battalion chief in the St. Clair Shores Fire Department. He's going to kind of take it away for us and explain how they serve the community, and if anybody's interested in becoming a firefighter, what it takes to make that happen.
How's it going, everyone? So here at St. Clair Shores, we have a population of roughly 50,000, 55,000, I want to say, residents. Our city limits go from 8 Mile all the way up to, which would be roughly 14 Mile, which is like Beverly on Jefferson. We go from the freeway, which is I-94. Eastbound is our side, east and westbound is our side. And we have the water, 6 miles of water line, which makes us kind of unique. So we get all kinds of opportunities to do all kinds of different things here. Any type of emergency we're prepared to handle. We have boat, we have ice rescue equipment. There's all kinds of ice fishermen out here in the wintertime. That's my favorite type of training is for doing the ice rescue training. We have a giant chainsaw that we use. We can cut holes in the water to play with. We can draft water from the lake. If we want more water for like boat fires and stuff. And incidentally, in the summertime, we have probably an extra 20,000 people in this town in all the marinas because of all the different people that are there. So
yep.
We're pretty unique fire department wise with all the different emergencies we might have to handle. Coast Guard stations right there. We train with them summer and winter time. Ice rescue, like I said, is the most fun.
And I know that you love the career that you have. So for anybody that's thinking about potentially applying for the fire department in St. Clair Shores, what's your best advice?
So most fire departments in this area require to go through the fire academy and be a paramedic because we transport. We're a 911 emergency ambulance. We don't do like hospital transports or anything like that. We have 3 ambulances in this city with 2 backups. Whenever one breaks down, we have another one that fills in. But that takes about 2.5 years to do both of that, along with 60 credit hours. So Macomb Community College in this county has the paramedic and fire academy. That takes care of about 40 credits. So anything else that like the basic stuff through college, they'll all will cover it. So 60 credits, fire academy, police academy. I'm sorry, paramedic academy.
Awesome. Hey, appreciate it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yep. And as we leave the fire station, continue heading north on Harper. Since this is primarily a real estate related YouTube channel, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about real estate a little bit, right guys? So currently there are 108 homes for sale in the city of St. Clair Shores. This is the beginning of November 2022. The average sale price in September of 2022 was $227,789. That's up 7.3% from the month before and 11.5% versus 2021. And just to kind of illustrate what you get for your money in St. Clair Shores, I want to talk a little bit about this house right here. I actually listed this one earlier in the year and got it sold in just a couple of days. I think we sold it for $221,500. I think we had it on the market for 3 entire days. And just to illustrate how the market is shifting, that was back, when there was extremely low inventory and it was really difficult to get a house sold. Now it's a little bit different. There's a slightly more inventory on the market. Homes are staying on the market a little longer. And this property here, which is about a mile north of that first one, right off of Harper, right by Kite Monroe Park, was listed for $160,000. We actually ended up getting that one sold for $20,000 under asking price. So it can be done. It's not going to happen on every deal, but the opportunity is there when you're buying a home to get it significantly less than asking price now in this market. And as we're making our way a little bit more towards the north end of town, it's a perfect opportunity to talk about the crown jewel of the St. Clair Shores park system, which is Memorial Park, which is located basically right at the corner of Jefferson and Masonic. It is an absolutely massive park. This one is basically only for residents. You have to prove your residency and have a park pass to get in. But for the residents of St. Clair Shores, this one is absolutely magnificent. It is right on Lake St. Clair. There's all kinds of things to do there. There's a great playscape for the kids, a great playground, splash pad for the summer, and it's just a really nice location. This is where they do the fireworks at the 4th of July, which is a huge thing in St. Clair Shores. It's a great display. And yeah, I mean, just obviously look at these clips. I mean, it's just a gorgeous park. So highly recommend checking it out when you're in the area. You might have to wrangle someone who lives there if you're not a St. Clair Shores resident, but it's well worth checking out. And while we're on the subject of parks in St. Clair Shores, let's take a minute to talk about Blossom Heath Park. This is actually Blossom Heath Event Center right here, which is a really cool banquet center. It's got a lot of history. Rumor has it was used by rum runners during Prohibition. Just a really cool building on the inside. But the park itself, where there's a park in front of the building and a park behind it, is undergoing a massive renovation. St. Clair Shores is putting a lot of money behind it. And just to talk about that for a minute, I met with Ron Frederick, who's a city councilman in the city of St. Clair Shores, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his take on the city and the park system and what you can look forward to should you choose to explore St. Clair Shores as a city to live in. Hey guys, I'm here with Ron Frederick. He's a city councilman in St. Clair Shores, and here to tell us a little bit about the city. So, Ron, what's your favorite thing about St. Clair Shores? What makes it so special?
Well, first, Derek, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. You got a great YouTube channel.
Appreciate it.
But I'm going to tell you, St. Clair Shores is about the almost 6 miles of shoreline that run along Lake St. Clair. That's the gem that we all believe is the important part of why we all live here. In addition to that, a lot of great people, a lot of great volunteers, and I can tell you that our parks have never looked better. We've just spent almost $1 million of non-taxpayer money, I might add, to fix up the parks. In fact, the park we're standing in right now, which is Blossom Heath, and we're on top of the beach house at our new beautiful view that's out here of the lake and are right next to our brand new pier. We put a new dinosaur playscape out there for the kids, and we're excited because it's bringing a lot of families. People who come here go, oh my God, I didn't know this was here. Maybe I should live there.
Right.
And that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear.
Exactly.
And then you couple that with all the restaurants and things to do, not to mention our new 9 Mile and Mac downtown area, which is right next to Roy O'Brien's. And we appreciate everything they do for the city. And then, of course, we've got Memorial Park at the other end of the city, which Veterans Memorial is a great place where we do concerts in the summer every Wednesday. And then there's also an Oktoberfest there. And, of course, we honor the veterans in that park.
Awesome. Excellent. And I know you mentioned this, but for people who are thinking about making St. Clair Shores their home, what do you think? What benefits they have for moving here, and what sets it apart from other cities they might be considering?
Well, it's generally the activities, and in addition to that, it's great neighborhoods, great neighbors, a lot of good people, and tons of volunteers. People love to get involved in the city. If you want to come into the city and just get involved, there's a committee for you. There's over 30 committees. Some are more activity-based. Others are more like, for instance, our cultural committee. And then we have communications and marketing and all kinds of things that you can get involved in and actually make a difference in the city that you live in.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Don't love it. And, I know you kind of mentioned the social district down at 9 and Mac, too.
Yes.
Just real quick, I know that's a relatively new event. So
Yes.
what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the social district, because the state allowed us to do that, allows you to close off the streets and people can take a beer or a drink from one bar and go out on the street, which is generally taboo. And what happens is we've added bands and some different kinds of games out on the street. So we've attracted tons of folks, not only from the neighborhood, which you can walk there, but people are now making that a destination to drive over and have some fun on the different Saturday nights that we do that. And I think we have maybe possibly one more coming up this year, and then of course we'll have the entire length of the series next summer.
Awesome. Excellent. Can't wait to check that out. So,
it'll be a good time.
Okay. Thanks, Ron. Really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to St. Clair Shores.
My
I appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Love the
Great
city.
place to live, work, and play.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks
you. Appreciate it.
And just to expand a little bit on the upgrades that Ron was talking about, this is the boathouse that we were standing on the roof of. Here's the interior of it. So it's all set up. It's a great community space. Lots of natural light. Those are all garage doors. So in the summertime, those can open up. People can come through. Kind of shows a little bit about the history of Blossom Heath.
Really cool new building. The upstairs has picnic tables and just lots of room to hang out. That's the view from up above. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was a picture perfect day when we came out here, but they're really doing a lot at Blossom Heath. And that's the new pier that they're building. So the beginning part of it was built with state funds, so anybody can access it. But further out where the city's building it, it might end up being for residents only. I'll let you know. And then I mentioned that there's also a part of the Blossom Heath Park in front of the event center, and this is what that looks like. So there's gazebos, there's a really nice pond. I mean, it's just a really pleasant area to take a stroll. There's, people have weddings there. It's a nice place to walk around. It's a little bit set back. It's along Jefferson, but it's set back, so traffic noise isn't really an issue either. And then as we get closer to the north end of the city, I want to take a second to talk about a service that's provided by St. Margaret Catholic Church, which is located on 13 Mile between Little Mac and Harper. It's called McWarm. So it's a warming center for, obviously in the wintertime, where people can come in, get a hot meal, get warmed up, get some clothes, and a meal for the next day. So to talk about that, I am going to bring in a friend of mine who is born and raised in St. Clair Shores and is a huge proponent of the city, Paul Dopke. So I'm here with my friend Paul Dopke. He is born and raised in St. Clair Shores, lived here his entire life, and business owner, just a prominent citizen, does a lot for the city. And speaking of McWarm, I know I talked about that a little bit, but Paul has a big hand in that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about McWarm, what it does, and
yeah. So McWarm is it's really a great organization. It is based out of a Catholic church, but Father Ron, who's the pastor there, he said it best. He said, "We're all God's children." So it doesn't matter if you don't believe in God, or if maybe you're down and out because of an addiction. Everybody's welcome, and it's a great place. We provide warm meals, a place for people to shower if they happen to be on the street. We have a clothing closet, and really more than anything, a lot of spiritual and just good company for people that sometimes feel like they're all alone in the world. And I've had the fortunate opportunity to start helping them a little bit, and my daughter's been a big part of helping as well. And so we've just really got a lot back out of it. When you give, you receive sometimes more than you're giving. So it's been great for our family, and we're started actually this week. We started back up with our first guest, and we'll run all through the winter, all the way to April 1st. So anybody ever wants to come by and check it out, just get a hold of me or Derek. I'd love to show you what we do. And we're not looking for donations. We're looking for people, too, that need some help. Awesome. That's really our mission and our goal, to serve others. So
fantastic. And just the last question I have for you, as someone who's lived their entire life in St. Clair Shores, and obviously I'm a big proponent of the city as well, and this whole video has been about all the reasons why you should live in St. Clair Shores, but I'd like your perspective on somebody who's thinking about maybe making a move into the shores. What keeps you here?
Well, I have 4 children. They're all except one are adults now, and it's been a great place to raise a family. Just wonderful parks and recreation department. Whether your kids want to play soccer or hockey, it was before the Detroit Red Wings were called Hockey Town. This was original Hockey Town. We're the second oldest hockey association in the state. So there's a lot of great activities. It's really for a bigger city, it's got a real small town feel. If you live here, you don't necessarily need to go on Facebook. I can tell you where I can find a friend in 5 minutes.
Awesome.
It's been a great place for our family. I think that my wife and I, we were certainly born here, and I have a feeling we're going to die right here in St. Clair Shores. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Paul. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And we'll post a link to McWarm down at the bottom in the comments. And anybody that is interested in that, definitely reach out to me or Paul.
Thanks.
And there you have it, guys. So you've seen firsthand that there is a lot of reason to visit, live in, play in, hang out in St. Clair Shores. It's a really great city, and hope I've done it justice, highlighting some of the highlights about the city. Thank you so much for watching this, guys, and we will see you down the road in the next town. Have a great one.